Welcome back. This is Retirement News Online. Well, a major element of investing is risk management, and admittedly, many investors aren't that good at managing risk. Many buy when they should sell, and sometimes sell when they should buy. When you're young, that's not as important and critical as it is when you get closer to retirement. That kind of behavior can really corrupt your retirement planning. My guest is Ryan O'Shea, who practices in Salt Lake City, Utah. Ryan, welcome, and begin by talking about how you start transitioning a portfolio to retirement.
Thanks, Scott. So the transition to retirement, hopefully if done correctly, should start well before retirement. So people just think of asset allocation, stocks and bonds, and what should my percentage be in each, and obviously getting less and less risky as you're closer to retirement. But what's really key is adding some diversity, not just diversity among stocks and bonds, but in other asset classes and other types of vehicles out there. There are things like cash value life insurance, annuities, real estate, that are not necessarily assets correlated with the market of stocks and bonds.
So Ryan, besides market risk, what are some of the other risks that people need to consider when planning?
One that almost everyone's aware of is inflation, right? Your buying power reducing over time because a dollar buys less than what it did in the past. But there are things like healthcare that's a risk. The cost there is going up every year, and many people have not properly planned for it using long-term care or some other vehicle. Another risk I've seen is just tax rates changing over time. So through different administrations, tax rates can go up and down over time, and there's no real way to predict what your tax rate is going to be in the future.
Finally, Ryan, we always talk about protecting what you've worked so hard to save. What about these longer lifespans and longevity risk when it comes to retirement planning? For those investors who need growth but don't want to take any risk, what do you have for them?
So obviously cash is kind of the least risky, but if you're looking for growth, you're going to have to get out of cash and off of the sidelines and invest in something. So there are things like annuities that provide guarantees, obviously permanent life insurance provides some guarantees, but if you're not highly leveraged and invest in real estate, you could mimic some growth there that you couldn't get somewhere else, like in a traditional market investment. There are other things like bonds that are very traditional, and I'm not talking about bond funds, but if you buy individual bonds and hold to maturity, the outcome there is pretty predictable.
Ryan, thank you so much.
Thank you, Scott.
That's Ryan O'Shea in Salt Lake City, Utah, and this is Retirement News Online.